I think they don't grow babies and they don't produce milk. And the wrappers won't wrap small, big bales. And there we go. Let's get this filled up. And done. Here we go. Find a harvester. Oh, there he is. Yeehaw. Oh, he's doing rows already. Woo. That's awesome. This is going to get interesting. And now I have to clear. I can't just turn it off here and let him empty, because he's going to go up to the end and turn around and come back and then get annoyed that I'm sitting where he wants to be. So we just got in on the elimination of the solar panel tax credit. I think that was supposed to run through 2028, but current administration said, no, we're getting rid of it at the end of this year. So you had to have your panels installed and ready to run, and installed and running, even though there was 6 inches of snow on them, so they're not really producing much. They are in operation, technically. We'd received our permission to run them. In order to be eligible for the tax rebate, refund, offset, which I think works out at about $9,000 this year. And we are definitely considering we need a new car. We have 2 at the moment. The problem is I have a Saab 9.3, which ideally I would love to keep forever. It's worth $1,000 because that's what it's worth. It hasn't been in any accidents. It does not have any mechanical defects. It's just, the resale value is just horrible. But there is nothing wrong with it. It's a brilliant car. Just love to drive. But with my back issues, it's difficult to get in and out of for me. And it uses premium gas, which is kind of pricey now. Back when I bought the first one, or leased the first one, premium gas was 20 cents more than regular. Now premium gas is $1.50 more than regular, so that's kind of a bit steep. But it's good mileage. It's 25 miles to the gallon, which is way better than our Honda Odyssey. So technically, our Honda Odyssey costs about as much to fill a tank as the Saab does, but I get the same mileage, or I get the same number of miles from a full tank. So they're about the same. It's 2-litre turbo engine, so it gets up and goes. But the other downside is they don't make them anymore, and they haven't for 15 years. So getting spare parts is expensive. Not that I generally need spare parts. However, insurance companies look at it and say, oh, they don't make them anymore. It's going to be really difficult to source spare parts. So we're going to jack up your insurance rates. because you just can't get the parts, and they're not a common car. I mean, you go for something like a Toyota Camry, there's like hundreds of thousands of those on the road. So even if they don't make them anymore, the spare part people just say, well, to be perfectly honest, there's ran over the deer. It doesn't matter. We will, sourcing spare parts for them is cheap because there are just so many of them on the roads. So it's kind of, we have two vehicles. We have the Honda Odyssey and we have the Saab. Now, obviously, when the kids are visiting, we need the Honda Odyssey because it's got the seating. However, we don't have teenage Osa on the house anymore, so we don't need 3 rows of seats. We just need 1 row of seats. So the thought is we'll get rid of the Saab because it just financially it doesn't make any sense. We only need 1 car. And in the odd occasion where we need to, frankly, it's cheaper to rent a car for a week, than it is to have 2 cars and pay the insurance and the road tax and all the rest of it. So it's just from a financial point of view, we need 1 car. That's it. So, and we've got a friendly local car rental place that you don't need a credit card for or anything like that. They know us. So usually if Mrs. Osa's heading off to visit her family, she will go and rent a car for that. Let's get that hitched up. The harvester's full again, so I'll take this out to the field and switch back to the grain cart. Unfold that. Press that button. Now we'll tab across to things. Oh, we're full. Yes, now. The harvester should take longer to fill up now that it's doing rows, because it has to turn around more frequently, I think. Anyway, and dirt condition doesn't factor in when you're doing contract. So yes, sell 2 cars, get 9,000 tax write-off for the solar panels, and we should be able to get a fairly nice small SUV. So something in the region of an Equinox. I've had an Equinox before. I like those cars, but so do deers. And I had a suicidal deer just accelerate straight into the front of it, and it didn't run right after that, which was unfortunate. But we just got teenage Osa at that time as well, and we needed to carry 3-4 people in the back of the car, so it just makes sense to go back to an SUV for a while. Now we don't need an SUV. That's kind of a luxury. We can just say, yeah, we're done with that. So, get rid of the Odyssey, get rid of the Saab, get an Equinox. Insurance rates should go down. We're only taxing 1 vehicle. We're only insuring 1 vehicle. And there'll be room in the garage for it at that point. Just have to remember how to reprogram the buttons and the roof for the garage door openers. Okay, I think I can turn that off now. We'll finish. Oh, it's only half empty. So I need to turn that on. Turn those on. Off we go. Oh, struggle, struggle. Little hint, always park the truck next to the edge of the field, because otherwise it can get stuck, especially with 75,600 litres of grain in the back. That's quite a bit. So barley's quite light. We can carry a full load by volume rather than full load by weight. What else do we have going on? We have trucks 100%. So we're at 50% on the truck, on the harvester. However, what are we on? Oh, I turned the engine off on the grain cart, so I can't see. I think the grain cart's about half empty, so I should, if the harvester fills up before I get back, I should be able to empty it completely. And the grain cart will be at 100%-ish for when the tractor or when this rig gets back there. We don't have to drive far though. I wonder what that field to the left of us is, because that's probably due a harvest as well next month. It does have some hail damage. We did get a fair few hailstorms this year, early on in spring, which did destroy a lot of crop, but I think my cotton was too fresh to be damaged by inclement weather. And then we had a tornado run through the soybean field just before it was too well developed. So we actually got away with it for a change. Front is done. Let's unload that. Are you emptying? Yes, you are. I cannot remember the button to... Yes, I can. Is it Y? No. Is it Alt Y? No. Is it Control Y? No. Is it Shift Y? Oh, boo. Okay. F1. Tip side. U. Okay, it's U. I. There we go. Brilliant. Then I have to tab to the rear trailer. That should carry an emptying. Done. And we move forward and unload that. Unfortunately, I have to wait till this is empty before I press U, I think. And the reason for that is it won't switch tip side while it's emptying. And you actually have to, when it's finished emptying, you have to wait a little minute before you can select the tip side, because it has to close the door on the current tip side. Anyway, 15% done. We are 19% done with the contract, which is good. I think that's good. Is that good? What I have to make sure we get is I have not tipped the contract before the harvester has completed harvesting 100% of the field. Now, I'm also not sure if I can run out there and grab the hay before the field is done. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure once I claim the contract, then the field is just done. Can't do anything with it. Well, I should be able to get all the stuff wrapped before let these guys go. Because I'm fairly sure I'm going to knock that stop sign over if I'm not careful. Well, we didn't knock out that one. It wasn't a pretty turn, but we made it. And unfortunately, in spite of the desire to get a lot of the model railway done, spend an hour a day down there, my back has not been too favourable with that goal. So, oh, you know what? I'm going to drive up closer to the road. Just so I don't have to struggle with that. How's the harvester? The harvester is... oh, full. Surprise. Well, that's okay. We'll get this empty. Like I said, I did get a couple of hours done this week. I've started relocating the point motors from topside, where they're just locked in position, holding the turnouts in the direction to allow for continuous travel. However, I am starting to relocate them below the boards so that I can actually, they'll be ready to switch the tracks. And unfortunately, I need a piece of wood that I can put the control electronics on. And weather has not been conducive to getting the table saw out and cutting the board to size for a shelf. So it doesn't prevent me mounting the motors under the boards, and I can also lock them in position by using a 9-volt battery to switch them. So no big deals there. And off he goes. Okay. And then once that's, obviously once the switches are in position, the motors are in position, I can add the full electronics later. The other thing I am doing, your engine's off, is painting the track. So, and that's, you don't get very far in an hour, but that's just something I can do anytime. Through the station area, I kind of want to get that done as early as possible, so that I can work on the station structures. I don't think this is going to work. Bale is not supported. Yeah, I thought that was too big. So I now have a big grass bale. Ah well. It is what it is. Let's go do the rest of them. So yeah, I've done a little bit of painting. The problem is it's not a do it all at the same time job. I've got to paint the rails as sort of a brownish grey to make them look dirty. I then need to paint the sleepers various shade or various densities of. I've got a sort of a cream color. It's not cream color. It's a sort of a sandy cream color, which makes the wooden ties look a little bit sun bleached, which is nice. And you don't have to be particularly consistent with that. Some of them can be more bleached than others. Doesn't really matter. But I have to wait till the track dries before I can do that. I then need to paint all of the chairs sort of a rust red. So I'm just going around with a small paintbrush and dot all the way down. But the sort of the sun bleaching needs to dry. And then I'm using brown ink to finish off the ties. And again, that doesn't take long, but it has to be done in a sequence, so it looks right. And you have to wait for the previous layer to dry. So I can do a bunch of track, and then or a bunch of rails, and then I have to let that dry before I can do the ties, and then I have to let that dry before I can do the chairs. And so you don't get very far done. Also, I have to do inside and outside, so I can do a 6-8 foot with a mix of paint in one go, and that's about an hour on 4 rails on the outside. Then I have to crawl underneath, and the next day do 4 rails on the inside, and then I can do all the rails or all the ties, because I can reach both sides of the ties and see both sides of the ties from one side. And harvester falls, so let's go find the harvester. And I've got call it 56 feet of track, and since I can do both rails, we'll just call it 56 feet. And in reality, I'm doing 50. Obviously, all told, is about 200. Call it 225 feet of rail to paint. 112 feet of ties to paint. And then just the laborious little red dots. And then another 112 feet of ink to spread. But it sounds like a lot, and so when you're doing 8 feet times 4, when you're doing 24 feet, you end up looking at it and saying, this is taking a long time, and I'm not seeing too much progress. But it is what it is. And if I get an hour done a day, then over the course of a month, you can get quite a lot done. But I'm doing it between tasks. So I can... trap might be too far over here. I can... What am I saying? Yeah, it is what it is. But I can do the painting anytime, so I can just put it down and do something that I feel like doing. So doing the electrics for the switches. Okay, that's going to take a while. I can do about one in an hour.